What's up, everybody? Welcome back, huh? Man, pretty interesting since that last video, is it not? You know, the opportunity for potentially what took place was there, and it happened. Um, but let's not talk about that. Let's focus on what's going on above us, right? As above, so below, and as below, so above. But let's think about this, okay? If we're all in quarantine, if we're all being forced to deal with each other in a certain standpoint within the household, imagine what's going on above, right? People are getting stopped and they're staying in one spot. So this transmutation of having to deal with certain situations is arising from above, right? So we got two timelines shifting as we speak, right? The higher timeline, the more divine timeline towards that path of beautifulness and all that is trying to take place, but that other timeline wants to exist with it. So what happens when it exists with it? These thought patterns come up that were in that old timeline to see if they can blend into the new one. Well, while that's taking place, that's where the work comes in, right? Because if you're good at transmutation, if you're good at controlling your thoughts, if you're good at holding your emotions tight, well, then all of a sudden, all these different emotions, plays, and thought patterns come back into your existence to say you dealt with maybe 6, 7 months ago. Well, they're coming back to see if they can coalesce within this new timeline. So, as you become aware of this, walk through those thoughts and keep that sharp mindset of, okay, no, this is not how my reality is supposed to be, or no, this is not what I intend to be best for my current state of being, right? It's very important to be able to walk that back, right? So have that sense of understanding, that sense of knowing. So I find it very interesting that the two timelines are kind of kicking off back and forth of each other. There's been some integrity and some fear tests that a lot of people are probably experiencing, and it might be some stuff that's already come up and gone, but now it's re-coming up to see if it can kind of ease its way in, right? So you have multiple different levels of things going on, with this whole fear and anxiety, right? Of uncertainty, right? Worry, right? We say if you worry and you focus on the lack that is, there will be more lack that comes within your field, right? So it's having the mindset to know not to stay in the worry and the fear mode, right? To have that extraordinary, that sense of, I'm going to be the best that I can be. None of this is going to stop me, right? So to have a plan to figure out something, right? A lot of people can't work right now. A lot of people can't, that's fine. What can you do around your house? What can you do internally, externally, around everything that you can control? What are you doing? Are you just sitting on the couch and just laying back and like just wasting time watching Netflix? Maybe lay on your back and focus inward, right? And see certain images and certain situations arise, and then deal with the emotions that are tied to it and release it. Let it go. Let it go. By the way, Frozen 2, Disney Plus, hit that up. It talks about the fifth element. What is the fifth element? Us chosen ones, right? We combine all four elements. I also like to look at it from you combine all four archangels, right? So as you're coming up and through your progressions, you want to embody all the elements, become the fifth element. Once you become the fifth element, you are projected into that higher angelical plateau, if you will. And then if you find the four aspects within that plateau, you put yourself in the middle and you rise. A little tidbit for you guys. So there's a lot going on, obviously. What was kind of explained to me was there's this fog of fear and worry, right? We'll call it 4D. I hate to put labels on things because it can just complicate things, but in the same sense, let's go with that, okay? So there's this fog, right? And above the fog is almost like a woven crown, if you will, like kind of something like Jesus wore, the thorn of crown. So all those different energy patterns are intertwined into that crown, right? And there's so much energy and entanglement within that crown. When that energy spikes, all that energy goes in the center of the crown and pushes out, right? And that's that higher information being transmuted into the higherness of the consciousness, right? Because when you expand your consciousness, you essentially create your crown, and then you can transmute energy up to be at a higher concentration of benevolence, but in the same sense, a higher concentration of pure energy that actually coalesces with the mind of your consciousness, right? Because your consciousness is expanding, so are these energetic patterns, right? But anyways, the way I was seeing it, we have this fog, right, on the 4D, and then we got the vine crown of the 5D. Here we are in 3D, right? Having a beautiful existence. Love the smell of fresh air. These flowers are about to be popping up. Can't wait to be smelling me some roses. But beyond that, so we got the cloud of fog, right? And the way it was explained to me was you got to come in and swoop up the fog, carry it up into the proper channels of the crown. And once you do that so much, that proper channel becomes so energetically charged, it sparks to the center and throws that information up to the highness. Obviously, the higher the energy you can get, the more benevolence it gets. Clearly, once you get out of duality, but right now is not the time to be out of duality. The way it's been explained to me was, look, you're living inside duality. Keep your consciousness within duality, and you can transmutate way more for the collective, communally and everything. I've been asked to really work on that root chakra, right? Really keep the safety and keep the worry down, and just know that we're going to be fine. We live in a safe environment. We live in a safe universe. Everything that happens is intended to happen for whatever reasons it is. We will learn from it. We will grow from it. But in the same sense, we will keep the sense of sturdiness, the sense of abundance, the sense of safeness, the sense of no lack, right? So that's what I've been focusing on. But back to my analogy of what I've been seeing, and so we're swooping up all the muck, all that dirty thoughts and whatnot, and as we take it up, it gets transmuted. Well, we have this huge fog because a lot of people are sitting at home, right, and they're having a hard time dealing with certain situations, which I totally understand, and like I said, having a fear of lack is only going to cause more lack. And if you worry, I've told you guys this before, worrying is the worst type of prayer you can do. So if you like bad prayer, just keep worrying, right? So because of all that's happening, we've got a bigger ring of fog, okay, if you will, inside the 4D, right? So as I was swooping up and everything, I'm a country boy, and I got to thinking, I was like, well, why can't I create a mechanical device that transmutates this fog? And then it struck me, the combine, right? The combine will come through the fog and it chews it all up, and as it chews it up, it goes through the process of separating the seed, right, the seeds you want to plant, versus all the junk that gets spit out the crap in the back of the combine, right? So if you guys are really in tune and you can see, just ask to see D's combine. It is truly a quantum work of art, okay? So there's all these crystals within it and everything. I don't want to give it away, right? Surprise yourself. But anyways, as this energy is being collected by the combine spits the grain out, right, into the field trucks, and they take it to the grain bin. Well, as this energy is going through the combine, it's coming out that overflow mechanism, if you will, that spout. It's coming out in a fairy gold energy, right? Like these sparkles of energy, kind of like fairy dust, if you will. And the fairy dust runs down, right? And it hits the fog and it illuminates the top of the fog, right? But then it also flows up into that crown, and it puts this magical energy into this 5D crown, which creates more spark gaps up into the higher divine energy. And in return, by doing that, I've also cleared up so many pathways within my own consciousness and the collective consciousness that more energy is able to rain down into the crown. So that's been very interesting. I don't know how much experience you guys have with your crown, but mine split in two probably 6-7 months ago. And like I said, those who've been following me, the lower crown seems to be more for my surroundings, and the upper crown seems to be more for my divine communication, right? But having that combine, that mechanism of sweeping up all this muck and this worry, right, and just transmutating it, and then having that fairy dust roll out and just coat, that putting a protection around the 4D, but then also transmuting higher energy into that 5D. It's been fun, right? So I've been doing my part. I've been holding my frequency high. I've been walking all my thought patterns out, not sticking with certain thought patterns and certain situations that are uncomfortable for me, right? And you know, it's work. It's a test, right? And the more persistent we stay in our endeavors, right? Because you know, I'm not gonna lie. I've tried to explain this to people, and you know, people that aren't ready to hear it, they don't quite understand it, so it can deteriorate you. So sometimes it's best just to keep what's going on inside. And as some of this information rolls out, and instead of being in a "I told you" mode, just be like, "Yes, now are you ready to understand fully?" You know, like, don't use it as a leverage. Use it as a momentum in order to build a greater understanding of how our consciousness evolves. And as our consciousness evolves, how our being evolves, right? If you guys are new to the channel and you haven't checked out the DNA upgrading video, I think it's DNA to 5G or something like that. I don't know. It's a couple months ago. Go back and watch that video. It's got the toroidal field expansion of the galactic heart versus the toroidal expansion of just a normal person. That's how you can tell by the picture. But, you know, we've talked about this multiple times, and to see things play out, yes, I understand not all of us are wired the same way, right? But in the same sense, if we trust in that divinity and we walk that path, you know, things are going to light up and happen for us. Now, they're obviously going to be unique per each person's situation, but in the same sense, you know, there's great levels of consciousness to achieve. However, some souls have achieved super high levels of consciousness. So as one wakes up and embodies their higher beings, higher consciousness, greater information, they might be faster adapted to go through the levels, if you will, the zones of consciousness. Because in certain zones you're tested, and certain abilities are given in certain zones. And just another quick one for you guys, you know, how do I know where I'm at? You know, I'm like this and that. You know, if you're feeling good, if you're feeling happy, if you're confident, and, you know, you're just living this good life, this beautiful life, you know, you're obviously progressed a lot more than some people, right? That's what some people that aren't spiritually awoke, they're golden energy, right? They have a good heart. They're doing the right things. And they might not have a fully expanded consciousness like some of us desire, but in the same sense, by being happy and doing their part and staying in a blissful state, if you will, their energetical codes are a lot more crisp than some people that worry and try too hard and don't have respect for themselves and just push for more information, and they don't let that body take over and heal, you know? As your consciousness expands, your DNA has to expand with it, or you're just going to battle each other, right? So, yeah, go back and watch that video if you haven't. You guys, it's been beautiful. You know, I'm getting the opportunity to still work right now. I was deemed essential. And I feel fortunate, you know, that I'm getting the opportunity when a lot of people aren't. But in the same sense, you know, we can only control so much. So let's really focus, hone in, and control what we can control around us, right? And clean out your closet, clean out your garage, do what you gotta do. Right? I go in the city and I see like almost everybody parking outside the garage. Like the garage is just a storage unit. Like why? It was meant to house your cars. You know, if you need a place to store some things, build a shed. Clean your garage up. Of course, coming in the summer, it's not as important as wintertime, right? Just think how much time you wasted out there scraping your windows, right? So just little things like that can add to the beautifulness of what we are. But, you know, just the main message is, you know, we can transmute and control the different realities and reactions that the thought patterns of the energy possess. So if we become pure and in control of our thoughts and our emotions and our energy, when certain different energies arise within our field, it's almost like we're mind reading, right? We're not really reading one's mind or thoughts, but we're reading the energy associated with them. So as we become more confident in reading that energy and looking into it, instead of asking the hard question and triggering them, you kind of ease into it, right? You come in with a little bit different shade of that color, and you open them up for clarity. And as the conversation goes on and it progresses, that clarity becomes evident to the individual as you as well. So if they're not seeing it right away, you know, you can steer them towards that direction, right? It's a beautiful time we're in. Like I said, we're dancing in between two timelines. I think that's probably evident. I don't know. I don't get to watch as much YouTube with the kids and the wife, right? Busy life. But I've seen a couple of videos where they were expressing the timeline. The Schumann resonance, I have a very good idea that the consciousness controls that. So if you get in a super meditative state and you're pushing higher energy, go back and look at the Schumann resonance. You probably caused something. If not, it's always a combined effort. There's got to be multiple, maybe at this point, millions, if not hundreds of thousands of people meditating daily at a certain point in time. So that's interesting to keep up. Let me know what you guys think. I was thinking about doing a guided meditation on how you could clear up some of this anxiety, worry, and fear. If you're interested, please leave a comment. Let me know. Let's say if I get 20 likes on this video and I get 2 or 3 people commenting on how they would like to understand how to transmutate some of this fear and anxiety, I will gladly put us together a great guided meditation, and maybe we'll do it live in a Zoom room on Friday. If I don't do it live in a Zoom room, or if you don't find out about it, just stay tuned. Obviously, if all that takes place, I will make it, because there is some very fascinating things we can do if we want to man up and we want to, embody that anxiety and that fear for a little bit. It's rough, it's tough, and it's ugly, and it makes you just want to get sick, right? Like, why even do this? But then when you see the transmutation of that energy when you go out, right? Oh, last point, a lot of people bless me with energy and send it back to me, but instead of me holding it, right, I'm sending it up to higher source so it can rain down on you, right? Instead of harnessing and capturing for myself, right? Because I already know I'm abundant. I already know I have more energy than I need. I know that I can summon all the energy that I could desire within this world with, one thought pattern, right? One flick of the wrist. So when y'all send me your energy, I love it and I appreciate it 100%. But I want you guys to know I'm sending that up to the higher realms, and it's radiating back within your life. So if you see it, leave a comment. Let us know how you feel. Just let's be awesome, guys. Let's just keep smiling. Let's keep radiating. I said, about a month and a half ago, it's time to shine. It's time to go. It's go time. Well, I've already reached like 300 miles an hour down the drag strip. Like, I'm getting ready to cross the finish line, and I just can't wait to see what trophy is presented, right? What kind of prized possession do I get for all my hard desires and work? And intuitively, I believe that is, that much more closer to the source, the creator, that much more ability to will creator's will upon us, right? So I speak from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. You guys, as always, stay true, be you, and until next time, peace.